Hello everyone, Vanguard of Valor here, and welcome back to Into the Breach. Now, we're still going on our run here with a steel Judoka, making our way through Pinnacle robotics, and I've had a couple of thoughts here before we start our next mission. So, we have two choices right now, the sub-zero range, we have to break 5 buildings out of the ice, and the ice forest, we have to freeze and defend both robots, and I was thinking, and I actually realized we don't have any way to break buildings out of ice. Because our cluster rockets don't damage buildings, our judo mech can only throw things, and he can't throw buildings, and our gravity mech can only pull things, and you can't pull buildings. So we're not going to go there, because the odds of us being able to do that are actually really quite low. We'd have to rely entirely on enemies to destroy the building shields, which is a little bit more problematic than I would like to go for. So we're going to go for the ice forest instead, even though I think this one might be a little bit harder mission-wise. I think the objective is much more doable. Before we go, we're also going to put our 2 power to use, and in doing so, we're going to move our VEC hormones somewhere else, and put the shield projector on here instead. I don't know if this is necessarily the best play, but I think this is going to be much more useful to us if we don't have something to pull. And we're going to put this on Prospero's mech instead. The reason why we're putting the VEC hormones on Prospero's mech is because Prospero needs a lot of additional power anyway. If we do wind up moving them somewhere else again later, then we can take that power and put it into our Vice Fist damage, which means that we're still going to be able to hurt things. But as it stands, with the 2 power cells we have just enough to pump this up to where it was before. And this power will still be useful later if we decide otherwise. So as it stands, I think that's where we want the VEC hormones to be right now, and that should give us a little bit more versatility and ability to really make our way through here. So, with all that said, let's go to the ice forest and see what happens. Oh boy.
These machines are not currently themselves. Look past their malfunctioning aggression and see them as living beings.
Alright, well we got 2 robots here to deal with. Let's get in there and see what's what. Only 1 actual VEC though, and it's a soldier scion, which is absolutely fine by me. We got a laser bot and a laser mech. I don't know what the difference between those are. Damage 1 to 2. Damage 1 to 4. Ah, laser mech is the more powerful one. Okay, well then, let us get ourselves in some kind of position to deal with this. This is actually an incredibly good starting loadout for us of enemies. We should be in good shape here to kind of not get horribly wrecked this time. Let's go. We're going to freeze this one and try and move this one into a position where he's not hitting anything important. Yeah, that's really good. That's actually incredible. Alright, that is an amazing start here for us. The only downside is that the freeze tank can't easily get through here. So, because what I want to do is I want to just pull this guy over one so he vaporizes the soldier scion for us and also forces himself to miss. So we're going to block a spawn here to do that. Pull him this way. There we go. Now as long as I don't stand there, we'll be fine. This one needs to get frozen, and then we're probably going to pull him out the way so that we can get the other freeze tank through to attack other things later. Because that attack is now cancelled, and we can, if we want, we can just go block all the spawns. I kind of don't want to block every spawn. Even though we have a hard time killing enemies, we kind of do need at least 1 or 2 here so that we can try and finish leveling up Isabel and maybe get some experience on Ralph somehow, even though he still doesn't have any kind of way to do damage. These environmental kills give group experience, so we kind of want to let them get some stuff in here. And if we block all the spawns right now, they're just going to come back later. So what we're going to do instead is we're just going to make it hard for them to maneuver around here, and then end our turn like so. Since nobody has damage, we don't need to repair. 4 damage. That's so funny. Alright, let's end our turn and deal with it. We get a Firefly and an Alpha Firefly. Alright, so far so good. What I want to try and do here, if we can, is try and mess around with these guys a little bit. But what I need to do is move here and pull this ice laser mech out of the way so that we can then freeze this one. Once that's done, we need to deal with the Alpha Firefly and the regular Firefly, so how we do that is going to be what we have to figure out now. They're kind of not in a great place for us to use our different abilities. One tile apart is less than ideal. I also can't easily flip him into this position, because if I do, then he's going to hit that building. Now what I could do is back up to here and fire a rocket to push him over 1 so that he misses. But then we have to do something with the Firefly, and there's already something in the only tile we can fling to with the Judo mech, which is less than great. So there might be a better way to make this work out here so that we don't get ourselves in more trouble than we need. I can actually bring the freeze tank around the side here. Oh, I thought I had 3 movement, not 4. So I don't need to use the gravity mech for that, which is actually a pretty big deal, because that should mean we can use the gravity mech to help make sure these guys wind up shooting each other instead of shooting nothing. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's start then with the freeze tank, because we know he's going to freeze this turn. Now what we have to do is what we're going to do with the rest of them. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to use the Firefly to kill the Alpha if we can manage that. Because all I would have to do to make that work is bring the gravity mech to here, pull him over 1, flip him, which would do 1 damage. Oh no, it's going to be 1 short. Because the Firefly's damage is going to do 3 to him, and he has 5 health. So that's a little short on damage to actually make that work. Okay, then, what alternative plan can I come up with? Because if we were to pull him to here, then use the Judo mech to flip him, then use the rocket to push this guy over 1, he'd wind up attacking the Firefly, but that's actually insufficient damage to kill him off. So in that case, what we're going to do instead is, we're going to use the Judo mech to flip the Firefly to here. We're going to use the gravity mech to pull him forward 1 tile. We're going to use the siege mech to attack here and push him back 1 so he shoots his ally. Because even though he goes second, that way the first attack will go through and miss. So that's fine. It means we'll take 1 damage on the gravity mech if we do it the way I've got in mind, but I'm okay with that right now. That should be fine. It does mean we have 3 new spawns coming in this turn, which isn't great. But we'll deal with it. The gravity mech damage is a little concerning though, but we'll see what happens here. The fact that they do get 3 new spawns is probably the more concerning part. They get an alpha centipede. Ooh. That's not so nice. Probably going to try and freeze him. We also have a Hornet going all the way around the map, which means we're probably going to have to use the rockets on him. But I don't want to use a rocket here because it'll free up the laser mech. Now, as it stands, I can move the freeze tank to here and freeze the centipede, which is probably going to be pretty key here. I can ignore the Alpha Firefly, just moving out of the way of him is fine. If I fire here, I can kill him, but not in a good way because the damages are building. Well, well, well. How do we want this to happen here? The Judo mech is a little problematic at this point. Because there's a couple different ways we can do this. We can use the gravity mech to shield these buildings, so it doesn't matter that he's attacking them. We can use the rocket mech to push him out of the way, which means he'll free that. I think shielding these is actually better right now. But if we shield them, we need to freeze him, and we need to do something about this guy. And I can flip him this way, but that'll break the freeze, which is not incredible, but probably not the end of the world either. So we're going to start by freezing the Alpha Centipede, because that guy's bad news. We're going to back up to here. Is that right? I think so. Back up to here and shield those 2 tiles. There we go. We can use the siege mech to push this guy out of the way. Okay, here's the maneuver. Okay, we've got it. We stand on the spawn, use the rockets here, then we use the flip to put him back so he's attacking his ally. That way he kills him and this attack does nothing. There we go. Perfect. And this one we can deal with much more easily. Okay, there we go. We should actually be able to clear them all out if we use a rocket on... Maybe not. Maybe we can't kill all of them, but we can certainly kill most of them. Just trying to see here if there's a better way to make this happen. And I think... No, because if I flip this guy here, then I can pull the Hornet against him, but he dies from the flipping, so that doesn't matter. I'd rather give the experience to our siege mech if I have the choice, so I will, because I do. Not quite enough to level him up, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we will deal. And just disable the last one. There we go. Mission accomplished. Let's end our turn. Whew. Okay, mission complete.
Thank you for protecting the sentient life. I am sure I'll be able to restore their programming.
Alrighty, well, that gets us some points, and let's continue. Corporate HQ time. We can only get up to 8 corporate rep here, but we may be able to sell some things if we can manage to keep our perfect completion rate. So let's see what happens here if we manage to take on the Beetle leader and protect the corporate tower.
Pinnacle tower is under attack. My analysis processor is unable to identify the species of egg threatening us. Caution is advised.
Let's go. Oh, that's a nasty place for the corporate tower to be. Right beside all the enemies. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Let's put our team down in the front lines here, because we want to be able to do whatever we need to maneuver them around. Okay, he's going that way. That is not a very good starting arrangement for us. That is a really bad starting arrangement for us. I can't just shield this building so he doesn't smash it and do any damage, but I was hoping to be able to use this guy to smash one of these guys around, and that's unlikely. I could stand here and pull the soldier scion and then flip it with the judo mech. That way it doesn't die before it gets there. But then this guy is still going to be firing his acid shot right at all these buildings, which we certainly can't allow. He's got 4 health because of the soldier scion as well, which is less than ideal. I can just pull him this way so that he misses, but then he'll be behind this whole row, which is actually a really bad place for him to be for us. Alternatively, I can push him over this way, so he smashes the soldier scion from the side, and would also knock him into our centipede. So what we'd have to do is do 3 damage to the centipede somehow, and we'd be in a pretty good spot here to actually prevent him from doing anything significant, because the push would kill him before he gets a turn. Unfortunately, with the number of maneuvers that are required to push him over that far, I don't think we can do that. Because we'd have to use the rockets here to push him over 1, and then the judo mech to flip him to here. That would mean all we'd have left is the gravity mech, and while I can use the gravity mech to block some of this damage, I can't block all of it, so I'm probably just going to body block that one. I could pull the Soldier Scion into the Centipede to put him down a little bit lower, but I can't actually deal with him. And if I stay in this tile, I think it lights on fire. I don't know how the fire interacts with acid, but I think since the acid doesn't go on the floor, it would light us on fire. So I have to stand here with the gravity mech. And I can't apply a shield to myself, of course. So let's stand here. Rocket this guy over one. Actually, that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna save the Blood Scion. Because this way, this guy kills the Centipede, which is much more important right now. And then we can kill the Blood Scion, Soldier Scion, I keep calling them the wrong thing. Call the Health Scion later. I think that's actually better. And we get a level up for our Siege Mech pilot. Hopefully they get a good ability. Alright, he's just charging straight forward again. What was our ability? 1 mech reactor. Nice, Isabel. That's some good abilities we got going here. I could probably have moved these people around easier to make it easier for people to level up, but I'm actually kind of happy with the layout we have right now. It's working out pretty well for us, and I'm okay with it. I might switch these guys now, though, because Isabel has that extra reactor power that we needed on the gravity mech, and that way Ralph can actually do some damage and has a chance of leveling up properly. I don't think we're going to keep him, though, so we'll see what happens after we complete this area. Now, what are we going to do about this? So, all I have to do is move out of the way, and the Judo mech, or rather the Firefly will kill the Soldier Scion for us. If I can pull him over one, it won't matter, because this guy's going to be long gone before then. I don't think we have a way to force him in front here, but we actually may be able to. If I use a rocket here, I can push the Beetle Leader back into the fire, and then, if I stand the gravity mech here, I can pull him in front. I mean, that means that the Beetle Leader hits the Soldier Scion and kills it. Then the Fireflies both attack the Beetle Leader, which I think will kill it. This one might be overkill, though. I think that's the main issue. Let's start this. We may use a reset turn on this if it doesn't play out the way I'm thinking. But I need to know where I want to move the Judo mech before I put it all into action, which is the tricky bit. So let's stand here first. Start it by pushing him into the fire. He's now burning, which means he's going to lose a health at the start of his turn. Yeah, I think this guy's gonna kill him, which means this one's not gonna miss. I may tank that shot on ourselves then. If I stand, because let's just stand here for now. Yeah, he hits him for 5. He's only gonna have 3 health left, and he gets hit for 5 by the first attack. So that's not gonna work the way we need it to. But let's pull him over 1. And now, if I flip this guy over, he's gonna wind up shooting us for 1, and that's totally okay. Man, this is all about using enemies to kill each other. That's super interesting. Okay, let's end the turn. Fire damage smashes the Scion. They all lose even more health. He murders the bug for us. We take 1 damage. They spawn in an Alpha Leaper. Ooh, and another Hornet. That's a long movement there. I don't like that very much. Okay, well then. Let's see here. So, this guy only has 3 health, so we can kill him with this Firefly if we move the rocket here and hit this guy over and this guy over. I think that's how we want to start this turn. But first, it might not be. I can use the Judo mech here to flip the Alpha Firefly onto the spawn, which might actually be better for us overall. That way, when we use the rocket to push this guy over to attack this one for us, we'd then just need to move the Hornet out of the way with the gravity mech, which we'd have more range of movement for. Because we could just come here and shield this building instead. If we pull him over to attack this, I don't think there's any way we can use these guys against each other reasonably. With the 4 movement, we could go 1, 2, 3, 4. If we could go 5, I could pull him over 1, but then they'd be in the same tile, so that doesn't work. If I just push him into the wall, does it matter? I don't think it matters. The only problem is I can't easily do anything to the Hornet without being able to pull them around. So is there a better way to do this? If we were instead... No. We need to make a space here so this guy can get out. And 1, 2, 3, 4 just isn't enough movement to cut it. Now, we do have the shield option if we need it, but I think we're still going to start this way. Because that way he does nothing, he kills the Leaper for us. And then we just need to deal with the Hornet. And the Hornet is a little bit of a pain because I can no longer hit him with any of these guys. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to block a spawn with the Judo mech and shield these two with the gravity mech, so that doesn't matter if he attacks this turn. Now we're not going to attack this guy because we actually want him to kill this for us. Yeah, that'll work out just fine. I could heal myself, but I'm at full health, so let's just end. Attack 1 hits the mountain. Attack 2 kills the Leaper. Attack 3 hits the building. One new enemy is a... Ooh, I don't like the centipedes very much. That's a problem. Everything else here is fine so far, though. So let's see how we want to make use of these guys. Because... we can actually do some different maneuvers here to deal with them. This guy does 1 damage, this guy has 3 health. If we pull him to this tile, he kills the centipede for us. And that's probably what we're going to do here, because that's pretty easy. I don't really know what we want to do with the Judo mech this turn. The Firefly, I actually like having him do nothing. And this gravity mech... rather, this bug up top we can kill with the siege mech just by bouncing it off our shield. So yeah, I think Judo mech doesn't actually need to do anything this turn. I might flip him over just for fun. Just to irritate him. Cancels his attack because you can't attack off the map like that. But this way, we get another kill and we are good to go. Nice. Okay, we'll take it. That could have gone much more complicatedly, but I think the ability to really maneuver around and take advantage of that ally damage is really interesting.
Thousands of lives were saved today. I am thankful for the time you have sacrificed to aid us.
No problem. No problem, Pinnacle, or Zenith. Alright. We got ourselves our final promotion for Isabel.
You have saved Pinnacle, accomplishing every objective without fail. Allow me to provide additional aid.
Alright, we can get Chen wrong. Chen's pretty cool. She has the ability to reposition after she attacks, and she starts with a mech reactor. That's really good. The Spartan Shield is an interesting kind of maneuvering enemies' attacks around ability, which would go very well with the theme of this team, but Chen is a really great pilot, and I think we're going to take her. I don't know actually if I want her for what we have, but I think we're going to take her anyway. No, we hadn't unlocked her yet. Very cool. She was actually in my very first test run before I started this campaign, so I have used her before, but evidently not during this run, which I didn't realize. So, what do we do with Chen? I might actually just swap Ralph out for one of our other pilots. But where do I want Chen to be? I think Prospero on the flying judo mech is still the best place to have them. But I really have to decide what to do with our other pilots. So far, all of our pilot skills are quite good. I might put Chen... It feels kind of weird taking Ralph off here, but experience doesn't help us. We have max experienced people. So I think what we might do is take Chen into the siege mech and put Isabel on the gravity mech. Because that way we get the extra mech HP there, and that's pretty good. Sidestep here lets you attack and then move out the way. And I'm not really sure where I want that to go. The one free tile of movement I feel is going to be most useful on the judo mech, but I don't really know where to put him, and I kind of like Chen, so we're going to experiment with her, and then we'll probably move her somewhere else afterwards. But for now, I think we're going to put her here, because we're not losing anything by not using Ralph, and I think this way Chen can get the level ups faster by being on a mech that actually attacks. So, that should help. Now, what are we going to spend our reputation on? What are they selling? They are selling an acid tank. That might actually be amazing. That might be amazing, because we have very low damage, and being able to apply acid to things might make a huge difference. We have smoke bombs, which are fun, but they're not the ones that actually hurt things, so we're not going to take those unless we have nothing else to spend our money on. We have a teleporter, which is an amazing piece of science equipment. That is a really good tool for manipulating enemies into attacking each other. And we have self-destruct, which we're definitely not taking. I'd rather not blow myself up, thanks. But let's see here. We're probably going to sell a bunch of stuff to buy a bunch of stuff, because this is an interesting proposition here. If we take... I don't know who I'd want to have this acid tank on. The 2 power to start makes it expensive to use, but it could be really useful. The teleporter could be a really powerful tool for our science mech if we were to swap the gravity for the ability to change places. Only problem is the range on it's not great, but if we're using it in place of something like this, then that might not matter. But if we're spending 4 resources on weapons, that's going to mean that we only have 4 left. Now, we could sell Ralph, get back up to 6, and buy 2 power cells, but I don't know if we have enough power to use all this stuff. And we could also sell, like, our gravity well or our shield projector. I kind of like keeping the shield projector, but maybe take off the extra use for now and put that power into the teleporter. Because being able to swap enemies around instead of just moving them one tile means we have some real options to make enemies murder each other. So I think we're going to take this for sure for our science mech. And I think we're going to sell the gravity well to get it. Because the gravity well I'm not a huge fan of already. And this is just a more versatile version of it. Except that the range isn't quite as good. So let's sell the gravity well. I think. Let me finish buying things and we can go from there. Now, if we do get an acid tank, the thing about the acid tank is this would fill up our last slot. So we would be able to acid enemies to make their allies do more damage to them, and I think that might be good enough to be worthwhile having. Being able to throw that out at the start of the game if we don't need to push a bunch of enemies around is really quite potentially amazing. So I think we're going to go for it. I've never used one of these mini tanks before, but we're going to this time. Now, as far as what we want to sell, I think we're just going to sell Ralph for now. Or, no, let's sell Jill and the the gravity well. Because that way we still have our more valuable person later. No, actually I changed my mind. We're going to keep the more granular things we can sell later and sell the bigger thing right now because we might need one corporate reputation later, but not two. So let's sell Ralph. Is that right? Yeah, we're going to sell Ralph and buy 2 reactor cores. So we are putting a big investment into tools here that we're potentially going to have problems recouping when it comes to actually being able to use them all. But we have some cool stuff available to us now. So let's do some re-maneuvering here. Teleporter in place, turn off the extra use, turn on +2 range. That's going to make a big difference, I think, here. Even if we don't put the extra power into it to give us the maximum 4-tile range, the 3-tile range should be pretty good. Then we'll put the acid tank here. We're going to put 1 power into Chen to turn that on. Yes, I'm liking this so far. So let's put 1 more power into Chen. And bump up the acid tank. We can give it a push effect too, which might be pretty useful. And more health, so it has 3 instead of 1. Interesting. Well, we'll experiment with this and then decide what we want to give it after that. I'm not going to give it anything else just yet. I think what we're going to do, though, is we're going to give the other power to Isabel so she can up the range on the teleporter to the maximum. That way we have the ability to flip things with our Judo mech, which is still super low power, but is hosting our VEC hormones. Our gravity mech can swap things or defend things. And our siege mech can push things or deploy an acid tank, which is a really weird combination of abilities, but I hope it works for us, because I'm actually kind of excited to use all of this. So let's do this thing. Alright, we have max range teleporter, we have a shield projector with 2 uses, we have a cluster artillery that can attack our friendly buildings, we have an acid tank that can apply acid to enemies to mean we can do more damage with weaker enemy attacks, and we also have the Vice Fist to flip things. I'd love to have another ability on the Judo mech, but right now I think this is probably going to be what it winds up staying as, because the VEC hormones are vital, and these other abilities are pretty cool. We might wind up swapping it back for the shield projector later if I get another ability to use on the Judo mech, but I don't think we've actually seen anything I would want to put on there yet. So overall, I'm fine with how this is. That's a really interesting loadout we've got there now, and I am pretty pleased with that. This team has proven to be quite unusual. Let us leave the island. And for now, this is it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. This has been Vanguard of Valor, playing some Into the Breach for you. If you enjoyed the episode, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. I love reading them, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, bye-bye.